Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 91 for Tuesday, the 5th of October 2021. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
Sensei Switch. Hey.
I bought a new toy, Nick Fights.
Hope you're both doing well.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good to hear. I feel like I haven't stopped podcasting this week. It's been a busy week. So we did the Patreon episode late, so that was recorded on Tuesday. And then we recorded on Friday night the conspiracy theory episode, which was really, really good. And obviously we're now doing the show tonight as well. So, crazy times. If you would like to listen to the conspiracy theory episode, by the way, you'll need to join the Patreon. So head to patreon.com/360gamercast. You can join there from as little as £5 a month and get an episode every single week of the year, and every single special episode that we do, like the conspiracy theory episode, which was really, really good. And we're also going to be doing a Halloween special episode in a few weeks to be released for Halloween. And we have now hit 25 Patreons.
Oh, nice.
So that now means that we have to record the music special. Because I changed things up a bit, because we recorded the conspiracy theory episode and we were at 24 patrons. And then we lost a patron this month, so we brought it down to 23. And I thought, you know what? I don't want the patrons to miss out on the conspiracy theory episode. I think it would have been a bit of a dickish move if I just kept the file sitting there on my computer until it hit the magic number, and then I uploaded it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the patrons are paying for extra content. I want to give it to them. I don't want to sit on stuff. I don't think it's fair. So I actually changed the goals on the Patreon after we recorded. So I took away the 25 for the conspiracy show. And I moved the music one from 30 patrons down to 25. So we went down to 23 yesterday. And that's when I actually uploaded the conspiracy show. And during the day today, we've had 2 new Patreon subscribers. So we lost 1, but then gained 2. So we're up by 1, which is fantastic. So a big thank you to the 2 brand new patrons, Ben and Eric. Thank you very much for joining the Patreon. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give a shout out to every single patron. I know we've got the 3 super duper patrons who are paying above the £5 a month, and those people are Wes, Phil and John. Thank you very much for being all access patrons and above. You guys are awesome. But every single patron is fantastic and much appreciated. I don't want you guys to forget that. I've got some things working in the pipeline at the moment as well. So if you're a patron if you're still a patron by the time I get some t-shirts made up, I'm going to send every single patron out a t-shirt. So the reason for that is my missus just got this new machine which can do t-shirt. We can print out t-shirt designs and put them onto t-shirts. Just need to figure out how it fucking works, and then we'll get the t-shirts made at some point. It's not going to be in the next month, I don't think. It'll probably be in a couple of months, maybe at the earliest, but it's just something for people to be aware of. We've also got a machine that can do mug printing as well, so we might do that as well as maybe an extra, depending on Patreon tiers or something. It's just something extra to send to people. Obviously, I'm going to get the postcards done again and do the handwritten thank yous like I used to do before as well. It's just to show people, that they are appreciated, to be honest. I know that people do like that personal touch, but nothing's happening at the moment, so it's just a little bit of information for people. I'm in discussions with someone at the moment to redesign the logo for the website and the podcast, etc. And the reason for that is the logo, I think, it just feels very dated now, to be honest. It is literally a rip-off of the old iTunes dude, and the circles have been replaced by like the Xbox circle. Right. So like people look at the icon and probably still think, Xbox related, because it's the green as well, right? Yeah. So we've got some designs kind of in the pipeline at the moment. I mean, it's going to be a few months, I think, until we get something finalised at the very earliest, but it's just so people are aware. But in my mind at the moment, these are very tentative ideas that I've got at the moment. I'm not going to give any spoilers as to what it's going to look like or anything. The name of the podcast is going to stay the same, so I'm not changing names again or anything. That's all staying, but the logo is going to change, and the colour is going to change to the old Mojo orange, because I really like that colour. So we're going to go back to the old Mojo orange colour. The name's going to stay the same, the logo's going to change, and then once the logo and everything is finalised, we're going to start pumping out T-shirts again and doing the other bits and pieces. It's just so it's a little bit more universal, to be honest. That makes sense. And obviously, I've started doing a lot of Twitch streaming at the moment. I want to carry that on, and so I want something that's quite generic in a way that can fit to all those kind of avenues that I'm kind of pushing at the moment. You know, the podcast, the Twitch streaming, and if I get time, maybe pump out some video reviews for YouTube like I used to do as well. So yeah, it's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at the moment that people probably aren't aware of. But it's just so people are aware. We are, you know, I am firmly committed to the podcast. I know, because some people are thinking, well, fuck me, you've quit the show like 5 times or something stupid, you know, what's going to happen? And I just want people to know that we're here to stay for the foreseeable, but we are making changes. And I think, you know, the fact that I'm prepared to spend money, make changes, etc., just goes to show that commitment is there. So especially for the patrons, I don't want you to feel, you know, that you're wasting your money. You know, it's there, it's being used for good things there, right? And also for people that are on the fence about joining the Patreon, because I think, oh, what's the point? You know, the show will end in 6 months or whatever. No, that's not going to happen. As I say, the commitment's there, and we are moving forward with quite a few ideas behind the scenes, which I'm hoping people will like. I mean, because I'm quite enjoying doing the extra special shows for the patrons that are off topic. You know, we've we just did that conspiracy episode. Yeah, and oh, man, it was just so fun just to talk about something other than gaming, just for a couple of hours. You know, something completely out of whack there. So we're going to carry on in that theme, and you know, I'm going to try and pump one of those out maybe every month or two, just something different. You know, just a completely different topic. So, all good. Anyway, those are the updates. Did I read out all the patrons? No, I didn't. So, that's what I was getting to. So, obviously, the VIP ones and the All Access ones I've already read out, but I'm going to go through all 25. So, a big thank you to Wes, Phil, Brian, John, Sean, Hogarth, John, Ryan, Strokey, Jason, Paul, David, our very own Nikki, who's on the show today, Nessie, Sly Almond, Craig, Matthew, Dazpoz, our very own Blast from the Past, Illmatic, Leon, D-Twin, Dodo, Elijah, and our 2 newbies, Eric and Ben. Thank you very much. Yes, for those of you that aren't aware, I actually had it's been a few weeks now, actually, about a month, actually. I was having a good chat with Illmatic. He's living in Japan. I think I mentioned
he was in Germany the last time I spoke to him, because he's in the military, isn't he? So he gets posted all over.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he said to me he's living in Japan. He's been living in Japan for a little while now, and he loves it out there, and he just wants to live the rest of his days out there now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so and I did say to him I'd love to have him back on the show again, but it's just because his schedule and obviously the time zone
they're
differences.
Like 8 hours or something ahead of us at least.
Yeah, it just makes things very difficult. So obviously I haven't been able to make that happen yet, but he is a voice that I used to love having on the show back in the day, and I'd love to have him back on. So Ilmatic, if you're listening, and I hope you are, since you're paying Patreon, I'd love to have you back on, so please get in touch with me again, and we'll try and make something work, even if it's at a time that more suits you. You know, we can get something in there. So, Turk Monkeys in the Twitch chat. A big thank you to everyone who does listen live on Twitch every single week. If you don't and you do have the time, please listen live on Twitch. Absolutely loving the live streaming at the moment. Pump your questions into the chat as we go along to the show. I will try and engage with you as much as I can. Try not to detriment the main show too much. But you're always appreciated. Also remember, if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber and you have your Twitch Prime, subscribe to me, and it's absolutely free, but it just gives a little bit of money to the show in that aspect as well, for free. So it's I get £2.50 for each subscription. So please do that, and every little helps. So just talking about Twitch, Tuck Monkey's put in there, you should do a show about being a gamer dad. Well, indeed, Turk Monkey, that sounds like a very good idea. I'm sure there's a podcast called Gamer Dads as well, actually.
I used to listen to it for a bit, yeah.
And that's UK based. Oh, does it not exist anymore?
No, but yeah, there definitely was a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do a dedicated show about being a gamer dad. And what about a gamer mum? You know, I could get my missus on and have a gamer mum, gamer dad episode. I don't know. And Hogarth says that I need cash for the RTX 4080 when it comes out. So yeah, I need to start saving. Well, I've been talking in Discord because obviously I'm getting into my streaming, and I've got the capture card, so I can stream console games really, really well off my PC. But the thing that I've been struggling with, because I've been streaming some New World the past week, which obviously on PC only, and what I have noticed is when I start streaming, it just absolutely hammers my frame rate. And that's because I've got a decent graphics card. I've got a 3080, but my CPU is a little bit dated now. It's an i7 7700K, so that came out in like 2017, end of 2016, I think. And it's only 4 core, so it's 4 core and 8 thread. You know, and the latest consoles have 8 cores and 16 threads, so my CPU's actually worse than a fucking Xbox and PlayStation now. So I've been thinking about maybe doing an upgrade at some point in the near future, maybe going AMD this time round. The 5800X is the one that I've been looking at. But again, it's very expensive to do an upgrade because you need to get a bloody motherboard as well, so you know, becomes, you know, I priced it up about between 600 and 700 quid just for the CPU and motherboard. So, you know, it's a lot of money to be spending. You know, so, don't go to the dark side. Hogarth, you know, it's just because it's cheaper. You know, it's just a cheaper price, isn't it? You know, and it's the same, you know, and looking at the benchmarks, it's just as good or even better than some of the Intel CPUs for the gaming and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'd love to go i9, but way out my price range, mate. So, anyway, shall we get into what we have been playing?
Yes.
Since I've yabbered on for almost 15 minutes. Who wants to go first this week? Any takers? As I feel like I've been talking for 15 minutes, I want someone else to have a turn.
Go first
before I yabber on about all the games I've been playing. You want to go first, Nick?
Yeah, I can go first or switch. That don't bother me.
Go on, Nick. You go first, mate. I want to hear what you've been playing.
Like I said in the intro, it's not what I've been playing. It's what I've been playing on. finally got a Series X.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. When did you get your Series X?
Nearly 2 weeks ago now. I got it Monday after the last podcast I was on. So I got
Excellent
the old,
news.
was it that Hot Stock app you said, then I forgot, and then Facebook
Yeah.
told me what it was. And I just, this was like, I forgot. And I just happened to have my phone in my hand when I was at work, like Monday morning about 7 o'clock, and it just come up, Series X in stock at Amazon. I said, right, I don't care, I'm having it. And went through, and it's a bit weird how they come in stock. They come in stock, then out of stock, then in and out again a few times. I don't know if that's how they do that at
Right.
Amazon to stop, people spamming it and like bots or whatever it is. The first one that wouldn't go in the basket, and then the second one did. I also clicked the old pay it in 5 interest-free installments of 90 quid over 5 months. So that was pretty good, so I don't have to pay it all up front. And then about 2 hours later, I found out at work we were all getting a £500 bonus for working really hard during COVID. So
nice.
Excellent news. That's paid for your Xbox then,
I'm not going to argue
Sweet.
them. If they said, I've worked really hard over COVID, I'll take the money, I've worked really hard. I've been watching loads of Twitch at work just lately.
Well, that is hard work in itself.
Then, obviously, so that came Tuesday, and I thought, oh, great, so Amazon's going to deliver it. Obviously, I was at work 6 till 2, so I thought, yeah, they'll want to deliver it at 10 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't hear anything until I got home, and that said, oh, we're delivering it between 2:30 and 5:30, and then it came about 10 minutes later, so I thought, brilliant, I haven't got to wait. And it was weird, I had to give the delivery Amazon woman a code, which they emailed me, and they wouldn't give it over unless I had the code. Which is nice, I suppose, for something expensive like that, I assume, so they don't give it to the wrong person and stuff like that. Because I remember they had a lot of grief when they came out where people were getting them nicked from delivery drivers, and people were opening up a box and finding they had cat food instead of a PlayStation or Xbox. But
I remember those stories.
But it wasn't cat food, so I got the Series X. It's a lovely console. It does seem a bit like Xbox Plus rather than a whole new one because the dashboard's the same. It's really nice, easy to set up. You just plug the cables in. And you do it on the app, which you already had installed, and just put a 6-digit code in that said, oh, we're seeing your Xbox One X. Do you want to set it up like that? So I was like, yes. Plugged my external hard drive in the back. That just worked, and that was just all there. And I think I let it do like updates to the controller, and away you go. I was in, and I thought, it's a nice console. I actually prefer the form factor of this one because it's a lot easier to put discs in than that, because you can actually see where you put the disc in, whereas on the Xbox One X you can't really see where it's supposed to go. Same with the PS4.
Just underneath the ridge, isn't it, on the One X?
Yeah, you can actually sit. It's a big hole, but whereas like the PS4 Pro, because I didn't play that for so long, I'm sitting there because that's like a weird sandwich with loads of slots, and I'm sitting there pushing a disc. I thought, where is it? Also, couldn't find the eject button, but I like it. It's heavy, but it doesn't seem any bigger than the others, really. But I haven't got a PS5 to compare. And the controller, like I said, it's the same as the last one, but just a little bit nicer. They've swapped the D-pad out for the weird pie dish thing that was on the Elite controller, which I never used when I had that. I just left the standard D-pad, but I actually like it now. I prefer it to the older one once you get used to it. But that's quite nice. And then obviously I'll have to test the power of the good old Series X. So I decided to do that by playing Resident Evil Code Veronica X from 1999. Because someone redeemed me to play it on Twitch, so I thought, righto then. I enjoyed it. Plus that's coming to Games with Gold on the 16th, so it's going to be, if anyone's got that. And I think that's weird. If you've got Game Pass Ultimate, you also get the Games with Gold games as well. So if anyone wants to try that, they're going to get that for part of their subscription on the 16th. But I mean, I've played, as you know, I've played most of the Resi games. Not that one as much as the PlayStation versions, because that's always been that's quite a longer one compared to the other one. I think that's probably one of the longest Resident Evil games there is. Like even the speed runs of that is like pushing 2 hours, where the other ones, that's like 40, 50 minutes. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it is 720p, so obviously that's really pushing the Series X. But even like loading the games up, and it does the little animation for the 360, all that sort of seem a lot snappier for the dashboard as well. Just loading into games and stuff like that. Plus this one. I mean, this is actually the 360 version, those are the versions you want. You want the 360 or the PS3 version. You don't want the PS4 or PS5 version, because for some reason they gave they just an emulation of the PS2 version, which wasn't even in 720p.
Oh, that's
that was
bizarre.
weird. I don't know why they did that, because it looks terrible. So I mean, I bought it because I'm that guy, buy everything crap. But you know, I mean, it's a good game. It's for Resident Evil fans. It's weird because they do everything out of order as well. Like, because normally Resident Evil, you get there, do whatever you do, the self-destruct sequence, fight the tyrant, game over. But you do this in Code Veronica, then after that, you go to a whole new area and the game just keeps going, which is pretty cool. But then you also play as Claire Redfield, and then you play as Chris Redfield as well, like in the same area. They sort of follow each other, and it's kind of hard to remember, because I remember like the game where most of the items are and what goes where, but it's hard to remember who puts what item where. You see what I mean? That sort of thing, because it's more of a memory thing, and then you just remember what you do. But I mean, I completed that. That was pretty good. And then so I went after that. Then obviously I was just trying out some of the other games I played. So I was like Forza Horizon 3 and Cold War. I played a lot of because I want to see. They had Series X patches to make them run better.
Right,
and like, Forza Horizon 3, because I only had the
old school. You're like stunty this week, aren't you? Playing the old Forzas.
Because I want to see that, because it's weird. Because I got the One X and the 4K TV, and then they were giving you the choice for like Horizon 4. Do you want it in 4K at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second at 1080p? And I'm like, well, I bought a 4K TV. Why would I not want it in 4K? Whereas, the Series X, you've got both. So you've got it in 4K and 60 frames. I mean, that doesn't make much of a difference. That does make quite a bit of a difference, actually, when I'm driving around. And everything seems just so smoother and faster. And I think it's one of those, like you say, Webby, if you get used to that, and then you try to go back, it's just not going to work, is it? It's not going to work.
No.
And then I went on to Cold War, but I only did the multiplayer because that ran like crap on the Xbox. I don't even know if that ran at. I think that ran at like 45 frames per second, which just seemed weird. I also had, and also
that is odd.
Seemed weird. And Modern Warfare, or the one before, multiplayer seemed to run better. And then I was talking to people, and they said, "Oh, you've got to change your field of view." That was on like 80, so I just put that up all the way, and obviously that, and then that's a Call of Duty game now. I've been playing that as well, and because I do like a bit of Warzone. I've always just enjoyed running around in multiplayer, just that shooting people up. So I've been playing that since like Call of Duty 2. So I'm pretty much the same as you.
Yeah.
But that runs a lot better, and I'm kind of worried. Are they gonna already started making the older gen versions worse than the newer ones? I think we're going to see that a little bit more now.
We'll see, mate. I mean, I'm just not a real big fan of the Call of Duty games anymore. I mean, I think Warzone, as its own entity with the Battle Royale, has just taken over. And I didn't even buy the campaign, the full game of the last one.
Yeah, you don't need to. That's not
and
good.
The new one, well, and the new one that's coming out. I mean, it's pointless even buying them if all you want to do is play freaking Warzone. I mean, because I imagine the standard old school multiplayers on them are just not as popular anymore. That's just my take on it.
Plus,
Anyway.
they're so big. I mean, Warzone's 200 gig, which is stupid, but I sort of get that for being like
Oh, no.
a huge open world map and 100 players and stuff like that. But even Black Ops Cold War, that's like 165 gig.
There's no need for the file sizes to be that big. There is no
I think
way.
that's just like developers and that just getting lazy. I mean, I was talking to you earlier, Webby, when you were streaming the Shenmue documentary I was watching on YouTube, where they were talking about how much time, effort, and money they put into, like compressing the data to fit that game onto 3 discs, which are like on Dreamcast, 1 gigabyte discs. They get a whole game on 3 gig, and then they get a game like that, and they're like, 200 gigs some games. That's just stupid, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you look at some of the MMOs out there, like Final Fantasy 14, it's bloody massive, and I think that's just sits about 100 gig on my hard drive, and that's bloody
on
huge.
PS5, it's like 65, 70 gig.
Yeah, it's nothing, is it, really? Think about it.
It's just silly because, like, obviously the Series X games, they have to be on the internal hard drive to work. I don't know if that'd work off the external at all. I don't.
Oh, just a correction for myself on Final Fantasy 14 online. On the PC version, I've just double checked the file size. It's 54 gig, not 100. Yes, bloody half the size of what I thought it was. So my apologies there. Yeah, and that looks gorgeous as well.
And that's the game and 3 full expansions.
Yeah.
I was just looking because I installed.
Sorry, Nicky.
I set up because obviously I got Game Pass, so I set up about 6 games to install to the internal hard drive, and then I looked at it next day. I was like, "Sorry, you haven't got enough space." I was like, "What? How is that possible?" I only had like 6 games or something like that, but for some reason I installed both versions of Cold War on the internals. So I installed the normal one and the original Xbox version. So I deleted that. Was a bit better, but that's why I was looking at those that little plug-in hard drive they've got, but they're still like about 160, 70 quid, and I'm like,
that's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. If you can manage your SSD in your Xbox without getting one, it will help you out a lot, obviously.
Yeah, I'm past paying
with the financials and stuff like that.
Because I bought the old PSP day one, and I remember because I've still got like the box, and I had the in the box it was like a game leaflet. It said like a 1 gigabyte what was it, the Memory Stick Pro Duo or whatever that was called. It said on there,
oh yeah,
all the space you'll ever need. And I think I paid like 120 quid for that 1 gigabyte card.
Fuck me, that's insane, isn't it? To think now,
2004, 2005, so it was a fair while ago. But now you can get like 16 gigabyte cards for like tenner on Amazon. So I'm like, so I'm just gonna wait until they come down in price, because they're gonna. That's how they work, don't they? I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if by the time these consoles go out, all the Pro versions, you're probably gonna have like 12 or 18 gigabyte plug-in cards for like 50, 60 quid. I mean, 4 or 5 years time, I'll probably go for that, and then we'll buy new consoles and we'll have to do it all again.
We'll have the mid-gen upgrades first.
Yeah, I bet they'll probably still only have 1 terabyte as well.
Yeah.
You think, come on. Right, and then so I've gone on to another game, which is the Series X game, and I think it's a fairly new one to Xbox, and it's called In Rays of the Light.
What? I've heard of this.
It's like a walk in Rays of the Light.
In Praise of the Light. I can't find this on YouTube.
Well, there's a few videos, but
Rays of the Light. In rain. Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Found
basically,
it.
it's
Okay,
basically a
well,
walking simulator, and I mean, the graphics are at some points really nice, and like all the lighting effects and stuff like that, pretty nice. With a game like in rays of the light, you'd expect it to have nice lighting, wouldn't you? But I mean, it's a walking sim. I streamed it last night. I think it took me about 2.5 hours to finish. I didn't cheat once.
oh, it's a short game
Yes,
then.
it's like
Okay.
walking around and stuff like that, and puzzles. And it said horror elements, but I mean, there's no attack or anything like that, or you don't get attacked either. It's just some of the sound effects and stuff. It's more of an anxiety-inducing game and like jump scare sort of thing, like
Right,
with the
okay.
music, and you hear things like falling over, and you turn around and think, "What's that? How'd that happen?" You see what I mean? I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, I don't know if it was on sale. I don't know if it still is, but it was on sale for like £3. Even the normal version is like 6.99, so it's not like us overly expensive. But I did actually make a mistake when I bought it. I bought the normal Xbox One version off the store, not the Series X version. Which is weird.
Oh,
I
right,
thought it was all the
okay.
same, but you've got to actually look the little X and S thing in the picture when you buy it online.
Oh, so fucking shit how this. Because this has happened to Wes as well on the PlayStation 5, so both systems are guilty of this. He was telling me he picked up WRC 10, but he accidentally bought the PS4 version instead of the PS5 version. And I've even got confused on the store as well myself. With these versions, and it's like when I bought Tales of Arise, I put the disc in and it said, "Oh, it come up with two options of which version to install." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
And it's a
It's
bit
crazy. It's
it's a
really
bit better when
annoying.
you just like install stuff off the disk. It just comes up, oh, do you want to upgrade to the Series X version? You just press yes. But I mean, it wasn't too
Yeah,
bad. I mean,
yeah,
just I think because when you look down like on the store, like on mobile or something, it still says it works for Series X, S plus Xbox One. So I think that's where I got confused. Whereas another
yeah,
one, which is exactly the same, it had the X and S in the picture. I mean, Xbox are quite good with that. So I bought the one I wanted, which was £3, and then I requested a refund for the wrong one, and they
yeah.
refunded me within 7 minutes. But
That's
but
amazing.
whereas you won't get that on PlayStation, they don't really do anything like that. I mean,
Oh, just talking about PlayStation, Nicky. You remember when you were last on the show and you said to me about your PlayStation Plus subscription and how you had cancelled the auto renew, but then they still charged you anyway? Literally, a few days after you told me that story on the podcast, the same thing happened to me.
oh yeah, they're terrible.
And I was like, what the hell? I know, because the thing is, right, I mean, because I pay for everything via PayPal online, and so I get the alerts on my phone. So I was in the kitchen, just chatting to the wife, just making a coffee. My phone buzzes. Look, I have a look at it, and I'm like, 50 quid's just come out of my PayPal. What the fuck's that about? So I look at it, it's like, PlayStation? I've not bought anything on PlayStation. The first thing that popped to my head was like, have I been hacked? So I went on, I checked my emails, it's like, oh yeah, here's your recurring subscription to PS Plus. And I was like, what the fuck? Last year I bought it on a CD key
Same as
sale
me.
for like 30 quid. And the first thing I always do, because I do this on the
Turn
Xbox
off
as well, is I turn off all the auto pay, all the auto renewal crap. But PlayStation, they're fucking awful because you ring them and there's no number, there's no extension for that specific issue. But what happened to me was like their phone lines don't open till 10 in the morning, and this was at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I emailed them because I had a busy day that day and I was going to go out, and then I've kind of forgotten about it. And then it took a couple of days, and then I had a message from PayPal saying that the charge had been reversed. So they actually did it just off the back of the email. Hogarth in the Twitch chat is just saying that the same thing happened to him as well. So I think it's something that people need to be wary of, really.
On YouTube, like, where people have had the same thing and they've actually, with a capture card, showed their PS4 and they've said, "Oh, PlayStation needs an update." Oh, does it? And they go to the page and say, "Look at this, auto renew turned off." They do the update, and they come back, they go to it, and it's turned back on. He said, "So that
No,
I take it you've got your cards registered to your system.
I mean, I just have my PayPal account linked.
But I took
yeah.
mine off the PS4. What I did was, remember a few months ago they said they were turning off all the PS3 stuff, the Vita and stuff. So I turned on the PS3, bought a couple of PS1 games for like £3 and downloaded everything to the console. Obviously, because if they're turning the servers off, you won't even be able to download anything, will you? So I was just making sure on the PS3 and that I've got all the games installed that I've got. And I think I logged on PayPal to that account on the PS3, and somehow they nicked the money from that PS4, and I'm like, oh, all right. I know I turned that off. I even took a picture of my phone last year when I turned it off, just to make sure I have. And they're just terrible. I mean, now we've had
that is awful
refund. You won't get any more, don't you, Webby? Because did they say? Suppose they said to you what they say for me. Oh, we'll do this as a one-time good gesture.
No, nothing like that. I just said no. They just emailed me saying that it's been refunded. That was literally
I didn't phone. I went through the
yeah.
I think I went through the Twitter support. I went through that.
Right. Okay.
They said it was a one-off thing, but then I've heard of people where if this happens again, most they'll do is refund the money back to your wallet to spend on something else.
That's a bit shit.
They've got to get with the times. I mean, like I said, with mine was a genuine mistake. I bought the one I wanted to. I hadn't played it like them people who were doing, was it the Steam game a few months ago where people were completing it in like an hour and a half and then refunding it and getting the full money back. It's not like I did that. I could see I did the right thing, but people, stuff like that happens, but that's naughty for them turning that auto renew on. But if anyone think, oh well, mine's turned off, just check and double check, and then
need to double check. I mean, because the thing is, right? I mean, a lot of people think, oh yeah, well, it's £50, but to some people, £50 is a lot of money, and that could mean, for some people, an unexpected £50 coming out your bank on, say, a Tuesday, could affect them going and buying food shopping from the supermarket or something. You know what I mean? Because because some people are at that limit, right? But to other people, it's £50 or whatever. So, I think it's wrong for them to be able to do that in the first place. Auto renew on things like that, on anything, I just don't like. On everything, I turn it off because I'm a bit of a control freak in that aspect. I like to know, like when my Xbox Live runs out, I like to know, and then I can be like, right, I now know I need to go and buy another Xbox Live. This was on gold. Obviously, it'll be for Game Pass. Right, I'm going to go and find a good deal in my own time. Because I know, like for most things,
a lot cheaper.
Yeah, like PS Plus, you can, like a lot of the time when they have a sale on CD keys, you get it for £30 for the year, whereas they're auto renewing it for 50. It's a big difference, right? So you got to be savvy in things like that. Don't just let things auto renew.
And for people, if it's always only £50, hopefully they never, people can be on hard times and things can happen.
Yeah.
Christmas happens, then cards go wrong, and
Oh, fucking don't tell me about.
Sorry about. Oh yeah, I forgot about your car.
I'm just talking. Oh fuck me! I've had a fucking a horrible month with my car.
Xbox money I had is holding up the back of my car in it, so stuff happens.
Oh,
it just.
I've had to get 4 new tyres on my car this month, and I've got to get the bloody cam belt done
that's what I
in a couple of weeks as well. So, yeah, an expensive month.
And I didn't get it done at the main dealer, but they wanted like 950 quid plus that for my cam belt.
Fucking redonk, innit?
I got
Ridiculous.
I've done it for 400 quid somewhere else. So
that's
like anything,
that's
you've got to
bad,
shop around. It's a good job
Still,
like Ford or whatever and putting our cars on auto renewing it.
it's fucking crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyway, what else you been playing, Nicky?
So then, I finished because that game was quite short in Rays of the Light. Then I played a game. It's a very old game on the Mega Drive, Altered Beast. Remember that?
Oh, I loved Altered Beast. That's one of my.
Welcome to
That's
your
like
doom.
one of my earliest.
Rise from your grave.
It's one of my earliest gaming memories, to be honest.
This goes back to like one of my best gaming memories. I remember I was 10. It was like Christmas, and I got a Mega Drive and a Game Boy as well at the same Christmas, and I was like, oh, so happy. I remember I got the Mega Drive with Altered Beast, Quackshot, and Sonic 1. And, I played like hell.
Nice.
I finished Sonic back in the day, but Altered Beast and Quackshot, they were just too hard. Because obviously those games, if they weren't hard, you'd complete them in like 20 minutes, an hour, wouldn't you?
Well, because Altered Beast was actually an arcade game before it came to console,
So I never got past the second boss back in the day. I remember at the Eyes boss, or whatever it was, because you turn into a different beast, every level. I actually completed the game. So it only took
excellent. How many continues? The thing is, like when you get these games on the console, it's like press the button, infinite continues. Just keep on,
I'm sure I said 5 was the maximum, but I thought, I think that's 5. I think that's 6. I think that's 7. But I was like, I don't care, because that game is kind of cheap, and it was back then. They were still. It was an arcade game, and the whole point of arcade game, just keep killing you, so you keep putting money in and keep playing. So, it's a bit cheap.
That's correct,
so I thought, I'll be cheap back with you and just go through that. But I finished it. It's only took me, let's say, 21 years to finish it. So that's probably the longest time it's ever took to finish a game. But back then, if you only had a couple of games, like with Sonic, that probably took me 2-3 months to complete that, just going through, learning all the levels, because remember, especially the Mega Drive, some SNES games you could save on them for like the big games, Final Fantasy and stuff like that. You couldn't save on most of the Mega Drive games, so if you died, back to the start of the game.
Yeah, but that's why you had the old level select cheats on Sonic. I still remember it. Up, down, left, right, A start on Sonic.
2, up C, down C, left C, right C.
Yeah. And I'm sure on another one it was something to do with the music player.
Yeah, 2 you had to
remember correctly.
Select 3 different songs, and then it would unlock the debug mode or something. That was Sonic 2, but we don't get cheats now, do we? We just get microtransactions and crap like that.
No, that's it. Yeah,
I was happy. To beat that, and that's pretty good. So. And then, obviously, a new game I've got, which it's not actually out yet, but I've got it and I've played it. Alan Wake Remastered.
So when did this arrive?
Turned up yesterday morning, because they posted it Friday, but it's not actually out till Tuesday.
You mean so Saturday? So it turned up on Saturday yesterday, yeah?
I've played it for only for about an hour and a bit, because I don't know there's going to be any day one patches, because I've had this before where I've played a game, then it's done a day one patch and it's like wiped my game save and stuff like that, or it's updates whatever, fix bugs or whatever, because obviously a game, it comes out on disc, it can't be finished, obviously, can it? So looking at the moment, it's 38 gigs altogether. I think only 1.8 gig is actually on the disc, so it's another one of these where the game's not actually on the disc.
Oh, that's so stupid. It's a single player game. It should just
should be there, shouldn't it? But that's just not. I don't get that, because usually from when the game goes gold, even though it's not actually gold because they're going to do day one patches and more patches and stuff like that, it's normally from when they print the discs for it coming out, it's usually between a month and 3 weeks, something like that. No, so
Right.
if the
Okay.
game's finished, why not just put it on the disc? I mean, these Blu-ray discs, I think they're dual layered Blu-rays. You get 100 gig on them, can't you? Is that 100 gig?
So I think it's like 50, maybe. I
I think
don't know, to be honest. I'm just
I
kind
think
of
the
guesstimating.
PS3 were 25, and then towards the end they did 50. Dual layer.
Yeah, I think it's about
Right.
100 with the
Okay.
dual layer, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm thinking because they nip. But I bother putting 1.8 gig or I've seen games that have got like 200 meg on them.
It's
It's just
fucking
stupid
mental.
because it is what it is. Once the servers are gone, the game's gone in it. I mean, I've still got
Yeah.
my original copy.
Well, no, because
So,
you're downloading the game from the store,
no, but
technically,
I'm just saying,
not the
once that's
servers.
all turned off,
Yeah,
it's gone in it.
as long as you haven't got it installed anymore.
And then
So anyway, the big question is, Nikki, how is it? I just want to mention beforehand though that they've changed the game slightly in regards to the advertising. So they're not Duracell batteries
they were
anymore.
Energizer.
They're just like Energizer batteries. So they're not Energizer
They
batteries
actually
anymore. They're
wrote that
just
down because I was
like
looking, I thought, I can't see any
ah
Energizer because I don't think. I mean, this game came out originally in 2010. Obviously, it did
yeah
okay, but it came out on the same day as Red Dead Redemption. It's probably not
yeah
the best time to release it, even though they're different types of games. But I mean, I got the big limited collector's edition with like all books and stuff.
yeah same
And that,
here.
so it's pretty. I mean, I got that pretty cheap. I think I got it for like 20 quid, like 2 weeks after launch, because no one was buying it. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I've played
Yeah.
this. I mean, it seems to be running 4K 60. I mean, I don't know how to check. It says on my TV it's running at 4K, but you never know. But obviously they'll do all digital foundry videos and stuff like that to say what it's running on all them. The load times seem pretty quick, smooth. I didn't like when it go through on the original where you'd have like loading screens. It's just straight into the next bit. It seems really nice. I like that, and but also this is strange for a remaster. They've actually remastered the cutscenes as well, whereas a lot of
Yeah, I've read
games,
that. Yeah.
like even the Sonic Colors HD that came out like last month, it didn't. And a lot of them really, they never remaster the cutscenes. So when you're going from the gameplay to the cutscenes, it's like, oh, what the hell? Why am I watching this old VHS tape through Vaseline for? But somehow,
So anyway, how does it look, Nikki? Tell me, are you impressed with the remaster?
I mean, it's one of those things. It looks how I remember it, which is not always the case. Like when you
Right.
played like Halo Anniversary, where they HD'd it all up. I mean, I haven't got it in this game where you can press a button and see how it was. It plays as good as I remember it, and it looks the same. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've got the original version behind me on digital, so I don't know if I'll look at that later and see. Wow, they have done. But they'll do loads of comparison videos on YouTube. But it looks. They have actually.
Yeah, of
There's a
course. So
couple. I
yeah.
think the official YouTube actually put a video out for the graphics comparisons as well. I mean, they haven't just like HD'd it
Right.
up a bit. They've pretty much redrew all the characters as well, whereas Alan Wake looks slightly different now, more realistic. Because I think we forget just how like crappy some of the facial animations were like 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far,
I mean, I'm looking at a video at the minute, and it doesn't look like a massive change in the graphics. To be honest, it looks like they've just up-resed it and
I mean, I don't know if this,
put
but
a
the
little bit
draw.
of a
I mean,
splash
the
on
draw
there.
distance looks a bit better. Plus, this game's all set at night as well. I think it's all at night. Actually, I don't know if
Yeah.
some of it. I don't even know if some of. I think a couple of little bits of the levels are daytime. I think when he goes to the diner, I'm not sure if that's at the daytime. Might be, but I mean, I didn't get that far in it. I've only played it for a couple of hours, so I don't want to get too far in case they do another HD. Unless they do a day one patch, but. If it's all dark and things like that, you're not going to notice it as much, are you?
No, true.
I mean, it's just an easy because I still don't. I think this is the first time PlayStation people can actually get to play this now. It was an
Yeah, it
Xbox
is. It is.
exclusive,
Yeah.
360 exclusive back then. I mean, I don't even know what Remedy are doing now. Are they still owned by Xbox? I don't think so because they don't control, didn't they? So that was on everything.
I mean, were they ever even owned by Xbox? I think they just did exclusivity deals, didn't they?
When I say
Possibly.
owned, they owned like when Bungie were owned by them or whatever you say. That's only for a certain amount of time or a certain amount of games, and it's a sort of like a contract to make so many games over so many years, and then they're off. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
good. It's a good game. It's a nice game to play. As like Halloween and stuff come up. But I mean, I've seen it. You can buy
Yeah.
it. If you look at hot UK deals, you can get it for about 22, 23 quid. And if you're like someone definitely not Webby, you can get the old dodgy Edna CD keys and make out you live in Argentina and get it for 6 quid.
Yeah, I've seen a few people on another Facebook group that I'm in do that. I'm not going to mention them, but they are loosely associated with us in a community aspect. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. I've actually got this already downloaded onto my PS5, and the reason obviously I've got it on the PS5 is because of Wes. So thank you, Wes, my game sharing buddy, who isn't really game sharing because he just buys all the games.
He's just sharing with you,
and
then.
I'm just a leech. Oh yeah, I'm just leeching. But the good thing about it being on the PS5 for me is that I can stream it onto Twitch because my PS5 is in my man cave, whereas my Xbox is downstairs, and I wouldn't want to pick it up on the PC because they're only going to be selling it on the Epic Games Store, and I don't like buying stuff off there.
Yeah, have they got like an exclusive deal for a year before it comes to Steam?
Yeah, I believe so.
Crap,
Yeah,
don't they? But
yeah, it's a pain in the
no, I don't
arse.
know. That doesn't. I mean, I don't do a lot of PC gaming. I can't see how that is a huge issue because I know a lot of people only want everything on Steam. But I suppose it's just you don't want to have like a Steam account, and then an Epic account, and then a good old, and you're going, what game did I buy that for again? And then you're going through all your different libraries.
Yeah, it just gets a bit messy. That's all it is.
So obviously I'll be playing and obviously streaming that this week, and I'm like legally allowed to do it on Twitch because even though I've got it and I haven't done anything wrong, they don't like people streaming games before they're out. You get a lot of people.
Oh, I would have just streamed it anyway, mate. Fuck them.
Yeah, well,
Fuck those people. You've got it legally. Just played it.
It's not just
you would have got at least 10 viewers, Nicky. Come on,
that, Mark.
up that viewer count. Up that viewer count,
15,
mate.
20, sometimes 30.
Excellent, mate. That is more than me. I'm super jelly.
Go on Twitch, then you disappear for a year. What do you expect?
I know. I'm lucky to get 3 or 4, to be honest.
Don't worry, I'll help you out. I'll get you in with my crew. We'll get you sorted. I always look after you on Twitch.
Good man. Right, what have you played anything else, mate?
Just a little bit of Doom Eternal, like only for like half an hour, 40 minutes, just to see how that runs. I think really quick on there as well, and I really like the quick resume thing. It's like you're playing like a game, and then you go to another one, and it's just back up within like seconds.
Yes.
That's really good because I remember on.
Yeah, it is a bit glitchy though, and I've noticed this with Darren. Are you playing Tales of Arise on the PlayStation 5? Yeah, so obviously I'm playing Tales of Arise on the Series X, and you got the quick resume, but it's a bit glitchy.
I've had it actually. Quick resume. I've never had I never use it, and I've known games it causes issues with Black Desert as well.
So yeah, I mean I've actually had the quick resume hard crash my Xbox on Tales of Arise. And then sometimes it goes to quick resume and then it just resets the game.
I had that with Forza because you go back into Forza, you're there, but then all of a sudden it goes back and has to reconnect to the server and stuff like that, and then it loads again. But for some games it's really good, and some games it's not. But it's just a nice thing. But even the normal loading times for that. I mean, I remember I play Horizon 4 on the old Xbox. It's like you just to fire it up, it just sits there on that page for ages and just waiting with a little spinning thing.
Yeah.
You think, oh, come on. Oh, but this one, it's just a lot faster, which it will be, being on the hard drives it's on now, the solid state, but that's good. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
So I'm finally up to the next gen or new gen or whatever it's called.
Well done for finally getting a Series X.
Mm.
Who's next?
Is that it? Okay, Darren, do you want to go next? Before I bore everyone to death.
I was going to say you can go, mate, to be honest. Probably be easiest.
Okay. I will bore everyone to death then. Well, actually, the first game I'm going to talk about is an MMO. I did talk about this briefly briefly for half an hour on the Patreon episode. New World. So I've got a few more impressions on New World. So I'm just trying to find a video. I do apologise. I'm trying to find a video without someone's stupid face on it. See, I think I did record a video myself, actually. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I do apologise. I can edit this out. Yes, I recorded my own video, so you can actually watch a video of me running around. Let me just mute it. How long is that video? Why is it not muting itself? For fuck's sake, I do apologise. Right, anyway, back to the drawing board. I am here. So, I'm enjoying New World. I think it's a really fun MMO, but it has got some issues at the moment. The number one issue for New World is the queue times to get onto the servers. If you're in a busy time, like afternoon to evening, it is absolutely redonkulous. If you log in like early in the morning, 7, 8 or 9 in the morning, you're straight in. But if you log in the afternoon, your queue times can go up to like 2 or 3 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. And there's quite a few of us in the community that are playing the game at the moment, and everyone. I mean, I've had to create a dedicated Discord room just for New World because we're talking about it so much, and everyone is complaining about the queue times. I'm hoping this gets sorted because it's not fun queuing up for that amount of time just to get on. I'm just going to go through the negatives first, and then I'm going to get on to the positives. So, and the other negative that I'm finding at the moment, I mean, I have been doing quite a lot of grinding on the side missions and your dailies and all that sort of stuff, but they're just it's very repetitive. It's like the same thing all the time. So it's like, you get all these side missions, and it's like, go to this area, kill 10 dudes. Go and search these 8 crates. Go and find 8 crates and search them for this item, and it's rinse and repeat all the fucking time, which does get a little bit monotonous after a while. Admittedly, I should be pursuing the main quest, and that's what I started to do again this morning because I'm up to level 21 now. My character, my main quest levels are level 14. So I've been doing a little bit too much of the side stuff, just getting lost in all that, to be honest. So, because a few people have said once you level up a little bit more, there's like dungeons to do, and the story quests are a little bit different as well. So, if I can get logged in, I will continue with the main quest line. But it's just I'm a little bit OCD. If I see markers on the map in the areas, I'm like, I want to go and do that. I'm going to do that. Blah blah blah. And I'll go and do that. And the other negative that I'm finding is I actually the reasoning why I stopped doing one of the quest lines, like, and this is a little bit shit, to be honest. Part of your, like, there's a lot of skills that you need to rank up throughout New World, and one of them is gathering. So you have to, like, go and, you know, gather your bushes and use your little sickle to gather herbs and all this bullshit. And it levels up, you know, your skill as you go along. Well, on my level 14 main quest, I've got to gather stuff. And I need to gather a certain item, and I need to be level 25 on my gathering skill to gather this item, and I'm only gathering level fucking 12. So I have to run around like a fucking boring idiot and do loads of gathering just to get it up to that level, just so I can gather this item for the main quest. Absolutely annoying. So, you know, that is some of the negatives. Some of the positive. Oh, and the other negative I did mention last week is there are 3 grand companies in the game. And if you want your friends to join your guild, you all have to be in the same fucking company. So if you're in a different company, right, you can only switch companies once every, like, 90 days or something silly. So that is really stupid, because a couple of people in the community have joined other companies, so they can't join the guild until, you know, for another couple of months, which is just insanity in my opinion.
Well, that and the fact that you I think in the beginning that when you start the game, you basically, like, appear in a random spot on the map. One of certain amount of random spots. So people who want to play it together have to sort of, like, wait a while before they can actually meet up.
Yeah, because it's very like WoW. When you look at the map, it's all split into different zones, and it has the level, you know, the level cap of what you should be to be in that zone. So if you go into a zone that's too high level for you, like the enemies will just one hit kill you. But the zones are quite well done, actually, because you level up in the zones separately, and what that means is, like, you do stuff in one zone and you can get perks. So when you're in that zone, you can have perks for, like, you get an extra 20% XP whilst you're doing stuff in that zone, and your gathering is quicker and all this sort of stuff. So it pays off to do a lot of stuff in one zone, so you get, like, kind of like, when you have signed up to a company, you get kind of infinite side quests that you can do in that zone to level yourself up in that zone to get more and more and more perks. And then so, like, each zone kind of levels separately in that aspect, which is quite cool, but a little bit annoying. And, you know, when you cross into another zone, it's like, oh, fucking hell, now I've got to start all over again, you know what I mean? So it's got its positives and negatives. The weapons are pretty cool. There's a lot of different weapons that you can use, but they all level up separately as well. So you need to use, like, so if you use a sword, it only levels up, like, your sword skills, and you get more and more skills, like in a musket as well. So I'm using a sword and shield and a musket as a secondary, so I'm trying to level up a musket. But it's a little bit of an annoying weapon because it reloads really bloody slow. So having the sword and shield is very beneficial, because you get a couple of shots off at an enemy, and by the time you've done that, the enemy's on you. So then I switch to the sword and shield and finish them off like that. So that's quite cool. Playing with friends once you've found each other and accepted each other's invites is pretty cool. You can see all your friends on the map. You can group up with random players. I did group up with a bunch of randoms to do a mini boss battle this week for a mission, which was really, really cool. Because the problem is, like with any new MMO, everyone's doing the same missions, so you get a lot of people in one area. So there was one enemy that had to do for a mission, but he would spawn like every 5 minutes. And there were so many people there, like you couldn't even get a hit in to kill him to complete your quest. So what a load of us did, we got about 10 of us just joined a group, so it didn't matter who got a hit in, all of us got the reward for killing him. So that was one way that we got around that. The community seems quite helpful when you're in the chat. I mean, there's a little bit of banter going on between some people, but generally, I've asked some questions, and it goes global on the server, and people reply in a friendly manner, which is very positive to see, which I really like. You can. So last week I did touch on. I couldn't find out where the microtransactions were, because obviously I did mention you buy the game and then you don't pay a monthly fee like you do with other MMOs. I've found the microtransactions now. So when you press escape, there's a little store page, and you can buy this specific currency to buy your weapon skins and your armor skins and all that stuff. So that's how they're making extra money. So, so that's how they're doing that. I actually got a load of Twitch drop skins, so that's what I've been using. That's what you can see in the video if you're watching live on Twitch. Overall, I am still enjoying it, even though I have mentioned quite a lot of negatives. But it's just that early on MMO grind that you just expect. Yeah. And it's just quite relaxing, to be honest, because I'm going in, I'm doing the gathering, I'm doing the missions, and I have a little bit of the OCD in the areas, but there's always something to do, which is really, really fun. And because there's quite a lot of people in the community playing it with me as well, and we've got a little Discord chat going and that, it just makes the game a lot better in that regard, because even though you're playing, like, all the stuff I'm doing is kind of single player orientated, a bit like how Final Fantasy 14 works, like the campaigns and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of like you're doing it on your own, because we're all chatting and we group up or whatever, and you can see other people running around the world, etc. It just makes it feel like a lived-in world. The only other negative I'm actually going to mention, and I did forget to mention, is the performance is all over the place in this game. I don't think they've ironed it out, to be honest. So what I'm experiencing is, when I'm just in the main world, just doing my stuff, it's very, very smooth. I'm getting between like 60 and 110 FPS. It bounces all over the place in that regard. But when I'm in the towns, like the busy town areas, man, it takes a nosedive. I mean, it's like sometimes it drops under 30. You can really notice the choppiness when you're running around the main towns. And that's something that they really need to iron out, because, again, I've been very spoiled with Final Fantasy 14. I do think graphically 14 looks nicer than New World. And I can run Final Fantasy 14 with the settings completely maxed out, and even in the busy hub town areas, I'm getting like 70 or 80 FPS. It's really buttery smooth. Whereas on this, I'm running the game on fucking medium settings, even with my hardware, and I'm still getting, a lot of performance issues in the hub world. And it's not just me; it's pretty much everyone who's playing it. So that's just something that, it doesn't make the game unplayable, but it's just something to bear in mind if you haven't picked it up yet, that just to expect those performance hits when you're in the busy town areas. As I say, it picks up when you're out and about and exploring and stuff anyway. But yeah, it's a really cool little MMO. It's kind of an unexpected hit in my eyes, that it's just fun, and I'll just be interested to see what the end game's like, but I'm a long way off from there. So the map is absolutely bloody huge, and I've only explored like a tiny portion of it. So yeah, it's a good game. So that's all I have to say on that at the moment. Where am I going to go to now? Okay, so my next game I'm going to talk about, and I think this is obviously going to be on Darren's list as well, is Tales of Arise.
Ew.
So I've noticed a few people in the community have completed it now, and I believe you have as well, Darren. So I feel I'm feeling like I'm a little bit behind everybody now, because I haven't finished it. I do feel like I'm getting towards the end of the game. I'm not going to mention where I am. I'll have a chat with you afterwards, Darren, just to give you an update on where I am. But all I'm going to say is the story is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it has a lot, because a lot of JRPGs you play, right, you can kind of predict what's going to happen. They're just the same kind of, every single one you play is kind of similar-ish, if that makes sense. Whereas this, it has a lot of big surprises throughout, and and I didn't text you, Darren, when something happened, and I was like, "What the hell's happened here?" This, I was not expecting this. It's just kind of turned on its head, and well, my goodness, wow, it's absolutely fantastic. And I've been chatting to a few of the guys in the Discord group about this as well, in the Xbox room, if anyone wants to have a look through that.
There's spoilers, obviously.
A couple of the guys who've a couple of guys who have completed it have already said that it's probably going to be their game of the year. It's up there for me, certainly, at the moment. I think it's an absolutely phenomenal experience. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just loving the map exploration. The battles are really, really fun. The only thing I'm getting a little bit annoyed about, Darren, I don't know if you found this, it's just you go through some areas and I sometimes feel like there's just too many battles. You get that in some RPGs. Like, you'll just be like going for an area and it's just like battle after battle after battle. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, it feels like, the old Final Fantasy games at times where it's just like, you do like 3 or 4 steps and there's a random battle encounter. Obviously this doesn't have the random battles, but it has enemies everywhere, and because you want to explore everywhere and get all the chests that are dotted around and the materials to upgrade your weapons and stuff, you kind of have to put up with that to some extent.
When you get near the end of the game, it might be worth having the number for the Samaritans on hand.
Oh dear.
One of my bugbears with the game was the very sort of like end dungeon. It just went on far too long, and I was bored the first way through it. And I'm just going to say that the first way through it, like by the time and then something happened, and I was like, "You're having a laugh? Please no, please no," because. I've completed it. I really like the game, but there are a couple of things after a while that start to sort of like rear their head and become more of an issue as the game goes on to a degree the more you play it. Not so much when you go back through other areas, but I just feel like everything is so spongy, health-wise. You just sometimes end up in these fights that just last ages. Like, your weapons never feel stronger until you go back into earlier levels. To a degree.
The
more you use your arts, when you use your arts and it goes up the star ratings, do you know what that does?
Yeah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't make your move more powerful or stronger or anything. It has no effect from what I've noticed.
I don't know what's... So one thing I have noticed, though, is when you do certain actions, either in battle or when you're in the open world, like, a lot of the conversations repeat themselves. So one of them that really annoys me now is when I jump in some water, he says, "Oh no, the sword got wet. Is it gonna?" Yeah, and then she's like, "Of course not." It's just like, "Oh my God, I've heard this about 50 freaking times, man. What's going on?"
To be honest, like that. That's I'll just say that. I finished the game, and then when you finish the game, you basically, it's not really a spoiler, you can make a save just before the end of the game, which is like classed as a clear save. And then if you load that game back up, you can then go back in just before the end, and a load of new stuff opens up, like new quests and things like that you can actually do before you decide to go on. You can also start a new game plus, but it's worth doing the side missions in the extra content because you'll get relics that enable you to carry things over into New Game Plus if you want that. Otherwise, you'll leave a lot of it behind.
The other thing I've noticed, Darren, is I'm pretty sure I'm near the end of the game. Like, because I'm a bit of a completionist with these type of games, I go through the map and look for the little envelopes for the side quests. But what I've noticed is a lot of these side quests are about 20 or 30 levels above what I actually am, so I can't actually do them. So a part of me is like, oh, I'm guessing these side quests I'm not meant to do till I've actually finished the game then.
Pretty much, yeah. There's one area of the game I've actually found out where you actually properly level up. Like, no other areas really do it, per se. As you'll know, depending where you are in the story, like a load of items fall down. And each one of those is kind of like its own dungeon. And there's one that you will do where it's weird. It's like the entire dungeon is a fight. It doesn't let you out of it. You can't save. And you're running around in like an empty area, like as though you're constantly in battle.
Yeah.
That's the one you want to complete. Yeah. Because when you complete that...
So that's where I went to. I went to that, and it was way too overleveled for me.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
to come out. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, if you actually complete that one, that's probably one of the other ones worth finishing, because you'll get a relic that gives you like an 80% XP boost permanently.
Oh, nice. Okay. Brilliant.
And yeah, you'll go in there, and once you've completed it, you'll get another quest that will take you back there, and it will take you through a series of other ones, and you pretty much go up about 5 levels each time you do one of them. But I've limited myself to 1 or 2 a day, because it's just so spongy when you're going through there. We just end up with, like, sometimes when you're like hammering on a boar or something, and it's taking and you just end up doing the same move over and over. But obviously, the more you use a move, the less effective it is. So that's sort of kind of what's it, and then the fights just go on and on and on and sort of a thing. So I'm sort of like can't wait until I've sort of like done and got most of my characters up to sort of like top rank and everything, because there was another side quest I went into, which you get from pretty much the start of the plus section, where I basically went in there and the dude was level 95. And I was level 56 or something at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, mate." Reload my save.
God.
I'm not even going to attempt this.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't know what level the enemies are until you're actually in the bloody battle with them. So if you haven't made a save recently, you're a bit screwed.
Sometimes your characters will actually say something when you're near them, like it'll say, like, "I don't think we're strong enough to take that on." But some characters have actually said that before, when I'm literally just 1 level below them, and I've done all right against the sort of fight. But also, some of the boss fights are cool, but later on, some of those bosses become regular enemies.
So
you'll end up in a battle with, like, say, 2 boss enemies and a load of random enemies, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I see this. Wow. Yeah, I'll be attacking the random enemies, and the boss will hit me." Or I'll just focus on the boss, and the random little ad enemies will just start pecking at me. Yeah, great.
Great. I mean, I know we've been moaning a bit, but it is actually a really fun game. I mean,
little bugbears that sort of like that only really show themselves when you've finished the game and you're just mopping up the last load of trophies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said, because I've got a lot of games I want to play at the moment. I mean, I love Tales of Arise, but I can't be arsed with the achievements on it, to be honest. I mean, I've done a load of the side quests. I can't be arsed with the fishing, and I've noticed I've got about 200 and something achievements, and I'm like, right, as soon as I've finished the actual main story campaign, that's going to be me done with it, I think. And I know some of the guys have gone back, like you have, and doing like that dungeon run thing multiple times.
I mean, I've got 8 left, I think, to get something like that. So it's not too bad.
That's fair. But playing it like I am, it's really, really fun. I mean, it's like the hunting of the owls. I've been trying to find all them, but I have missed some, I think. But it's just a cool thing. Like, I will search for them if, like, the little owl, when I enter the area. But I think you'll have to go back to some of the earlier areas before you got that secondary character that helps you find the owls. I just can't be bothered. So, it's a good game and that, but I think some of the extra stuff is just busy work at the end of the day, like the typical RPG. I'll go and find 120 of these things and go and
you are, for a majority of the game, you're kind of dragged mainly through the main story quests. You've got like side missions, but they're literally like you'll go into an area, you might get two or three, and you just do them while you're in the area and you're done. Like, whereas in a lot of RPGs, you'll go into a town and everyone's just running up to you with a bubble above their head, and you think, oh my fucking god.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of good that it does it like that, and also some of the sort of side missions sort of continue on from each other, so it kind of makes sense while they'll pop up in different areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I will say there is a few surprises, like from a couple of the sort of bits at the end as well, which sort of took me aback.
Yeah, did you you sent me a message in the week saying about characters from another Tales game.
That is true, yeah.
It is true, yeah, because someone else mentioned it in the Discord, and I was like, really? I played that game and I didn't even click with me at all.
Yeah. But yeah, this is they also announced, I think, today from like either TGS or something else that they're doing like a Sword Art Online crossover as well.
Is that on a fighting game?
No, it's in Tales. Like you're gonna be able to fight. I think it's Kirito and Asuna.
Oh, nice!
And stuff.
That's pretty cool.
As like an extra add-on. I think it's a paid one. I don't think it's going to be a freebie.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me because the game's obviously done so well. And I will say a lot of the outfits and everything are good, and they are really well done to a degree.
Yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. I think so too. Cool. Have we done that to death?
Pretty much, yeah. I think Nicky's fallen asleep.
He probably is, yeah.
That's on mute.
Alright, that's fine. So, just before the poddy, I was playing a little bit of Gran Turismo. Just to say, like, I hadn't played it in ages, man. And
which one's this? 6?
Obviously it's Gran Turismo Sport.
Ah, the one that
PlayStation
painted 4? The new one, you mean? Because I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
this is Gran Turismo Sport is the main reason why Gran Turismo 7 is in Always Online. And it's all because of esports.
Yeah. Oh, for God's
sake.
So
esports is not only fucking up fighting games, it's also now started to fuck up racing games. Brilliant. Well done.
Anyway, all I was going to say was, because I'm getting quite excited for the new Gran Turismo coming out early next year, I re-downloaded this into my PS5. It's over 100 gig. It's like 110 gig for a bloody PS4 game. So I'm dreading to think the file size of the PS5 game that comes out early next year.
I think it's going to be at least, it's going to wane over 100 off, I'm sure of it. If not over time.
Oh, easy,
it doesn't straight out the gate. But
yeah, but I just wanted to say, I'm quite enjoying going through it because I never actually played a lot of it before, so I've got a lot of challenges I still need to do, all of the actual campaign kind of race stuff, and it's quite relaxing in a weird way. I mean, it's not. I mean, I do think Forza 7 looks better, to be honest, and it kind of like on that, like on the behind the car view on a Forza game, it feels quite natural the way the car moves. Whereas when you're playing Gran Turismo, like it just like when you're on behind the car view, like it just looks like a stationary object in the middle of the road. It's really odd to explain. It just doesn't look right.
I think I play Forza in a zoomed out view, whereas generally when I play Gran Turismo, I either play from a cockpit view or like a bumper cam.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, is because that behind the car view is so jarring on Gran Turismo, I play it in the cockpit view. the whole time. But while I'm playing like that, I was playing it today thinking, oh, this would be so good with a racing wheel.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there thinking, oh, I might actually have to. Well, if I have the spare cash next year, maybe have a look at maybe picking up a racing wheel next year. Because you can pick up those racing wheels with the clutch pedal and the gear stick.
I think Headcase has got
think it's a
one
Logitech
where he
one.
basically built himself like a rig, like an iron rig, and put himself a rig together and sort of pulled all the things into position. So he's got a racing seat.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, so literally just don't have the room. I was thinking of maybe I probably won't do it, but I'm thinking, with at a desk, because I'm sitting at a desk, right? I could have a wheel at the desk, and then the pedals on the floor, and then the gear stick next to the wheel. Just set it up when I'm going to play or whatever. I think that would be quite cool, but those racing wheels are really expensive, mate. Look, I had to look at the Logitech one. That's like nearly 300
some
quid.
Of them kind of actually use proper real actual wheels, don't they? Just modified and stuff.
Yeah. And have all the really good force feedback and make it all, feel real, I think that would be quite cool. So it might be something I might think about next year, so if time and money and stuff is available. But PC upgrade has got to come first, unfortunately. So that's going to be my thing for next year. But yeah, Gran Turismo, looking forward to the new one. And
I was going to say one thing that I found quite funny, because it was obviously, I watched an interview or someone talking about an interview that the guy behind the game or the producer or whatever was talking about, and why they decided to bring a lot of the stuff back into the game and everything. And it was, he went to some racing event, and there were people there playing GT1 and GT2, obviously on the original PlayStation.
Bloody hell.
And he was shocked that people are still playing those. But this is it. Like, you go to a lot of events, people are still playing classic games because they are classic games, and they will always remain that, and people will always enjoy them.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm surprised people are still playing these. And and it's kind of ironic, because I thought, well, they won't be able to play yours in 20 fucking years' time, will they? Because the servers will be down. Unless they just want to play quick race, which is pretty pointless.
Yeah, I know.
They could surely patch it out, but I don't think they will. Once something's sort of locked in like that, it's very rare they actually change their thing later on.
Well, it's quite funny though, Dan. I mean, if you look and if you go and watch some videos of the original Gran Turismo on the PS1, like when I look at that game in action, I still I sit there thinking, wow, this is really impressive. Even for a PS1 game, it's still I think it looks fantastic.
Well, I still remember when
they did such a good job with it.
Was it Gran Turismo 3, the one that came out on the PlayStation 2? I think when that came out, I remember being like, bloody hell, look at that. Like, they've certainly sorted that out. But then again, it's like we've always sort of stated, it's quite easy to, I wouldn't say it's quite easy, but it always seems easy for developers to make good-looking car games.
Yeah.
I think I've played a Gran Turismo since 3. I think that was my favourite one.
I mean, look at those graphics on Gran Turismo 1. For a PS1, I just think that's quite impressive for a PS1.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it all just comes down to pixels and like the way they sort of like the 3D rendering and stuff. Yeah,
polygons and that. Yeah.
But like, it's annoying because obviously I was all in on GT7, and I would definitely be picking it up if it wasn't for the nonsense. I think there's far too many games needing that, and like I said, it's all for because of esports, and they don't want people cheating and doing save file copying and all this kind of stuff to get cars and such. And I just thought, that's all right. Fuck off millions for the for literally like hundreds or thousands maybe that actually care about the esports side of Gran Turismo.
If you're always online, they can always spam you to buy cars for microtransactions.
Yep. Well, I'm going to move on because I see time is ticking on. I want to talk about another game that I've been playing. In the Xbox Insider program, Halo Infinite, I have been playing. Yes, and I'm just going to go out and say I am impressed. And this is something I was not expecting, because I think I've been mentioning on the podcast recently that I think, the last Halo especially was just a bit meh, and I was saying that 343 have got quite a lot to prove with this game, and obviously there's been the discontent about the fact that the game is launching without the co-op. But they are obviously launching the multiplayer portion of the game for free to everyone else. It's going to be free to play. And I think it looks and runs really, really well, even for a closed preview of the game. So I'm going to go out and say I've played this on the Xbox Series X and on the PC. On both systems, it's silky smooth, and it looks really, really nice. I mean, and so what? So all the classic game modes are there. So I've been playing big team battle, capture the flag, and that classic gameplay is there. You have your two teams. You got your warthogs, and you going in trying to get the flag and all that sort of stuff, which is quite cool.
Do the warthogs still control like crap, or have they made him drive like cars yet?
I've been so on the Xbox. They control the same on the controller, which is fine. But I've mainly been playing on the PC, so I've been controlling it with a mouse and keyboard. But they've added some new guns into this new Halo, which is fantastic. So one of my worries about this game was, do you remember me saying when I was talking about Splitgate, maybe last week or the week before, that this is something that's missing from Halo, is the aiming down the sights of the weapons. So what they've done in this is quite clever, really. So on the old classic guns, like the old battle rifle and the pistol, do you remember on the battle rifle there wasn't any zoom on it at all? You just shoot. Whereas now you press your left trigger to aim, or the right mouse button, whatever system you're playing on. Every weapon, even the battle rifle, has the battle rifle has like a slight zoom in, and it just does it enough to make you feel like you're actually properly aiming, if that makes sense.
Didn't they start that with the DMR? Like back in the day, that was one of the first guns I remember having a slight little zoom, but like you say, it made it feel more precise, less shooting from the hip.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing on all those old school weapons on Halo Infinite. But also they've added some new weapons. So they've got like another weapon that's kind of like the battle rifle of old. I can't remember the name of it now. It's like a carbine something or other. But you aim down that, and it's like actually properly aiming down a sight, which is really, really nice. So you get that extra precision. It's a single shot rifle. And what's quite cool is there's a training mode on the other. So because the actual multiplayer servers on this have only been up between certain times, so sometimes I've logged on and I've not been able to do anything apart from go to this training mode, which is to just to fight bots on a map of your choice. But what that's given you the option of doing is, one, they've added a grappling hook into the game, so you can use that and test that out by grappling on and zipping around the map a bit. Like, it feels a little bit like Titanfall in some aspects in that regard, and it's actually quite a cool addition to the game. But also, you can press the start button and it goes in, and you press training, and it just lets you like spawn any weapon you want into your hand. So you can go into this mode and just try out every single weapon to kind of get so you get a feel for all of them to get your so because you can choose a loadout before you go into a lot of the game modes, you see, so it's quite nice to know which loadout suits you, which is quite nice. So that's cool. So anyway, into the game itself, on the Xbox, I did watch a Digital Foundry video about this, because in the Insider program there is a graphical option on the Xbox to have quality mode or performance mode. That's greyed out for me on the Xbox. So I can't test it out. It's on quality mode, so it's on 4K, and I think it's 4K 60, because it felt buttery
so what
smooth.
You're probably looking at is performance mode is 120 and your screen isn't capable.
Yeah. No, well, no. I mean, yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because my TV is only a 60 hertz TV downstairs, so yeah, you might be right
it's
there.
Got to be that. I'd imagine.
Yeah, because the performance mode is 1080p 120 hertz on the Series X. So I can imagine that runs nice, because when I'm playing it on my PC, I'm getting between 120 and 130 FPS when I'm playing it on there, when I've tweaked the settings a little bit, and that runs really, really nice on there. But the main difference I'm finding, though, is with the controller, the vibration with the guns feels really nice. But obviously, I don't get that on a mouse and keyboard. But the one thing I did want to mention is, no matter which system you're playing on, especially if you're wearing headphones, the sound on the weapons is so good. They've done such a good job of it. Like, no matter which weapon you're using, the sound just pops out. It just jumps at you. You know, it feels so meaty every time you're firing the weapon, and it just makes the game just feel more realistic. Makes it feel more alive. And what I'm liking about it as well is it's that classic Halo gameplay that we just haven't had for such a long time. And because I think the last main Halo game, was it Guardians, the last one? Halo, I think that was the name of it. Yeah, it just felt like it lost its way in the multiplayer, because it felt very Call of Duty, and that's not what Halo is. It's its own entity, and I feel like with this they've brought it back to its old school classic gameplay. You know, it's fast and fluid. You can sprint and you can aim down your weapons and that, but it's, you know, those classic game modes: big team battle, capture the flag, hold the points, whatever like that. You know, the market has been oversaturated with these freaking battle royale games. I'm sick of them, to be honest. I've had enough. You know, and just having something that's fun to play with your mates on these classic game modes is what's needed at the moment. And from what I've played, like, Halo is gonna do that for the Xbox community. I mean, if you have Game Pass, great. You know, you get the full experience, you get the campaign and the multiplayer. But if you don't have Game Pass, the multiplayer is available for free to everyone, PC and Xbox. Excellent. You've got cross-play between PC and Xbox as well, which is bringing the two communities together, which I think is great. You know, I haven't come across any negatives while playing this closed test, and it's really shocked me, because I went in with such low expectations because of what I played with the last Halo, and you know, I've been bad mouthing it, and you know, we've had the issues and that, but it feels very, very solid from what I've played on the few maps that they have in this test, and I'm really looking forward to the full game coming out now, because I do feel that it's going to surprise a lot of people with just how good the quality of the gameplay is, because, you know, the graphics are good, right, and we all love good graphics, but what keeps games going is the gameplay, right? And it has that solid gameplay of, you know, it's fast, it's fluid, and it has, you know, the fun game modes.
Yeah, I'm sure they talked.
One thing I would recommend is
back in the day, like when they were obviously at the various E3s and things where it's being showed off. I think they've like brought community people in to help with the multiplayer and stuff, because I know obviously a few people weren't too happy with some of the changes in the last one, so they obviously wanted to do this. And at the end of the day,
and I was one of them.
You could pretty much put your house on the fact that it was going to be a good multiplayer. Like, technically, Halo is the face of Xbox Live in general.
Yes, yeah, and you know, such good memories of playing Halo 2 and Halo 3 online. You know, and one of the things I'm hoping now is, you know, I've had a hell of a lot of fun playing this weekend, and one thing that I'm really going to try and push for now is trying to get the podcast community involved in playing this when it launches. You know, we could have some really good gamer nights on this on a Friday night. All of us jump in together on it, you know, as a team on Halo, big team battle, man, and just play it. I mean, you know, no excuses not to play it. It's free to everyone. If you've got a PC or an Xbox, any Xbox, the game's coming out on the Xbox One, and Dan downloaded it and was playing it on his Xbox One today, and he was very impressed with it on that hardware as well. So, I think that is absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited for this game now. I'm super hyped, and I think we're going to have some really good gamer nights on this. Even Urban Big P has joined the Twitch chat. Old school Urban. He's going to play Halo with us in a gamer night. It's going to be like going back in time by 10 years. And we're all going to be young again, gaming on Halo till 2 or 3 in the morning. It's going to be freaking awesome, guys. We're going to do it.
Webby, do you know if this is like crossplay between all the different versions of Xbox? Because the Battlefield...
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah.
I mean, I could play with you now, which would be fun. And get the new Battlefield and play that as well. So this one is going to be like that.
Yeah, so we'll all be able to play, so for those people that haven't managed to pick up a new generation Xbox, a Series S or a Series X for whatever reason, well, whatever, it's still hard to come by, right?
Yeah, it's going to get even harder.
We'll all be... Yeah, well, Clarky's joked that it will last a week. I really want to get the community back involved in a fun game again, and I think Battlefield may do it, because Battlefield is a big game with the community, but I think Halo is kind of, is another game of choice, right? When we've got 2 different games that we can choose from, right, it just makes it a little bit easier to organise, because, we did the Wreckfest game nights. It just got a bit samey after a while, right? So we could even do 1 week Halo, 1 week Battlefield. Like chop and change it each week. Maybe just do something like that.
Do an hour on one, an hour on
yeah, something like that, man. But it's really good. So yeah, that's all I can say on it now. I've run out of words. It's
I've got
brilliant.
about 4 days left.
I am shocked
to complete the campaign.
Oh no. Well, I will hook you up with my mate who knows how to get it from Brazil, mate. How's that?
I'll probably redeem it on the bloody wrong account again.
Didn't Xbox go ballistic over that sort of thing back in the day? Because I remember Vietno Boy, like old community member, he got banned from Xbox Live for purchasing games from like Thailand or somewhere. I think it was.
Oh no! Oh, that's gutting.
I just think sometimes it's probably not worth it, because if they're going to just ban your account with all those games on it, do you know what I mean? It's like...
Well, it seems to be like more people are doing it again, so I don't know. This was back on the 360, like this happened.
It's easier with VPNs and stuff. I suppose the main problem is governments and people get involved because we're not paying whatever tax is included in
the tax or the VAT.
I think until they get pressure put on by them again, I don't think they really care, because they're still getting some money, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, so I've talked about Halo. I've got one more game to talk about. So this one took me a little bit by surprise. There's a demo. The full game isn't out yet. It's called Voice of Cards: The Isle of Dragon Roars. So this game is made, the Nier Automata dude who wears that weird moon mask thing.
Yoko Taro.
It's a card. Yeah, it's like a weird card game. I'm just trying to, for God's sake, I'm trying to find a video for people to see what it looks like. There was an announcement trailer on the Switch only the other day. But it is a card-based game with a story. It's a bit like playing Dungeon. Like the people that play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. It feels a little bit like that, because you've got like a game master who's organised the game, and like, so you're like this little, like, it looks like a chess piece, and you're going around moving between all these cards. and basically you talk to people as you go along, and it reveals more of the story, and you got like your weapon shop and all that stuff. So you're on this quest, but it's all done in card form, which is really, really unique, I feel. And then you get into the battles, and the battles are so you got these. So from the demo, you got these three main characters. You got like a warrior, a mage, and like a healer type person. The typical RPG trope. But it's just very interesting playing this because it's just. I mean, I love card games. I'm big into Magic the Gathering. I liked a little bit of Hearthstone back in the day as well. I really enjoyed. What's it called? Fate of Kingdom or something. What the fuck was it called? Hand of Fate. That was a really cool game. But this is, it's a bit like Dungeons and Dragons, as I say. And I didn't want to play it too much. Just wanted to get a kind of a feel for it. And it's like the music is really, really nice, and the characters are like the designs on the cards are really, really nice, and it's just, let's say you're going on this quest, and it's done in like as you can see in the video, you're traveling along all these cards and obtaining items and stuff, and then you get to a point where enemies attack you. So you got your three characters, and they have different like attacks or spells that they can use, and it's just very much feels like a traditional turn-based RPG when you're fighting, but it's all in card form. So I mean, there's a demo on Steam and on the Nintendo Switch.
Isn't it on mobile, or am I getting confused by another game? Because I think it's. I know there's like near reincarnation. I think that's a mobile game that he's involved with, unless I'm getting confused with that.
I mean, this is a sort of game that would probably work on a mobile, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But I played the demo on Steam. I know that there's a demo on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure if it's come into any other system, to be honest. I just haven't looked. I just watched a little bit of TGS this week and thought, oh, this game looks cool. And I downloaded the demo. I wanted to give it a quick bosh just to see what it was like. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with the quality of it, to be honest. So if you're into your kind of RPGs or your card games or whatever, give the demo a download and see if it's your cup of tea. But I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm going to be picking this up. I think it's out in November time. I think I need to double check, but yes, it's really, really good. That is all I've played. That is all I've played. Oh, it's out on the 28th of October.
Not long.
So not long. End of the month. Yeah.
A month away, basically.
Yeah. So check it out. That is all I've been playing this week.
Nice. Well, I talked about Tales.
Have you played anything else, Darren?
Yeah, well, I talked about Tales of Arise, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the only other game apart from the dailies on my usuals was from watching obviously the New World gameplay and stuff that people have been enjoying. It triggered that MMO itch to a degree, and obviously I was just sitting there thinking, and then I decided to try out Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis because it's free. It's a free to play.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just thought I'd jump into a game and explore a new world for a little bit, just to see what it's like and just to scratch that itch for a little while. It's you've tried this as well, haven't you, Webby?
I haven't. Well, I played a
few months back, or was it last year? I'm trying to remember how far back it was actually.
About a year or so ago, but it's had a big update because the new Genesis is like kind of a whole new game, I think, or just it's completely different, isn't it, from the original kind of
quite possibly, yeah. There seems to be like a main hub area in the middle of this map, and then these biodome sort of areas all around it. So you got like a frosty one, a really lush one, and rocky one, and obviously you go off into those and do missions. I'd imagine as you level up, certain areas are sort of recommended for certain power levels and stuff, but.
Right. Yeah, because on the version I played, you're on this spaceship and then you like drop down onto the different parts of the planet.
Yeah. I'm not too sure how it fully goes.
Yeah, I kind of fell off it quite.
Yeah, it's weird. It has that sort of like cool exploration thing to a degree, although the world itself seems quite big but empty, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like when you go in, like that was one of the things that I thought was fantastic about the scenery in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. When you went into wooded areas, you felt like you was in some of them like real dense, thick woodland around, rather than it just being like, oh, there's a tree like 400 foot over in that direction. There's another one 20 foot over there, kind of thing.
Yeah. This weird. Phantasy Star's a weird one for me because I've got a lot of nostalgia for Phantasy Star.
Well, for a lot of
the
people,
Dreamcast.
it was like their first online RPG.
Yeah,
back on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, and I had, and actually for Phantasy Star, this Phantasy Star 2 has been out in Japan for years.
Yes,
come out like 2014 or something crazy.
Maybe earlier than that.
So it's quite dated now, and that's what I've had this new Genesis update. But when it came out, I was thinking, yeah, the Phantasy Star, I'm going to get well into this, and I tried so hard to get into it, and I just fell off it. It just didn't have that pull. It felt dated to me, like after I've been
slightly off there. I went as a gunner because I think in the Phantasy Star games it's probably good to be like a nice run and gun shoot thing rather than melee.
Yeah,
it just has that sci-fi aesthetic to it, so why not? But yeah, I find targeting to be a bit of a pain in the arse.
Mm-hmm.
You can do like an over-the-shoulder sort of thing, but it's so effective to do the lock-on because you can do all the fancy like runs and dashes and dodges and shoots at the same sort of time with your different abilities and such.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I really like the verticality in the game. I think that's really cool. Like the way your character can sort of like double jump and then like hover on particles like really slowly. Which then means you can obviously sort of like double jump, wall jump, all of that to get up to high areas. And there was, I think, one point earlier on when we was recording earlier, I went up to the top of this peak of like this traditional part of the rock face that's like curling right out over, like in a circle, and climbed to the top of that and managed to sort of glide all the way off it, all the way back to the main city in the middle and land on top of the sort of main building.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is cool.
Able to do weird things like that now. I think it's kind of cool. When you unlock teleporters and stuff like that, it's free. It's completely free, but yeah, there's just a few issues I find like with it in a cumbersome way. Not because it's bad, just because I'm used to how other games kind of do things, I think, a little bit better in those aspects.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, the one thing I just want to go back to New World very quickly, Darren, like, because it just reminded me when I'm watching the video of Phantasy Star, I see the mini-map in the corner. New World has no mini-map. So you're forever fucking...
I think that's actually kind of cool, because you're back in the days of the conquistadors and stuff. So you wouldn't have...
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's really frustrating. Like, because I'm having to press escape and looking at the map all the fucking time to make sure I'm on the right path and going in the right direction. It's just really... I just find it very frustrating.
I mean, Phantasy Star only has the corner map, I believe. I haven't found a way of bringing up a main over map of the area.
Oh, okay. I can't.
Leveling up takes ages. Like you're killing things in the first area, and you get like 1 XP, 3 XP or something, and you need like hundreds to level up.
Yeah.
I don't know what the level cap is. The level cap might not be that high. It might not go into the stupid levels like some of the other games kind of do.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I tried it. It's worth having a bash for free. It seems pretty empty. Like every time I've been in there, I haven't seen any more than like 6 people in the main hub city.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. Okay, I'm going to move on to the news, mate. So obviously we've had Tokyo Game Show this week. I don't think there's been a lot come out of it. I've scoured the news websites for stuff. I did watch the Square Enix stream, which I thought was.
See, I saw all the stuff that was going to be on that, and was just like, nah. It's all stuff I've pretty much seen before to a degree.
Yeah, well, they did a trailer for Stranger of Paradise.
Yes, haven't they changed it up a little bit, and they released a new demo as well, didn't they? That I must admit I haven't tried. I think the demo updates.
I haven't downloaded the new demo.
Yeah, I think you just update it, I'd imagine, because I think they've done that before with certain demos. So rather than having to re-download a new one, you just reload and update the old one, possibly. That would be the sensible way of doing it. It looks quite.
It looks quite interesting, actually. A very action-heavy game with a story, and it's obviously it's a Final Fantasy type game, I suppose. I don't know really that much about it, but I just thought it looked quite cool.
Yeah.
That was really the only game that caught my interest from the Square Enix event, because they showed off a few phone games, and I was just like, ugh. You know, there's that Final Fantasy VII kind of prequel game that's coming out.
Just Final Fantasy First Soldier, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's really annoying because it's a Final Fantasy VII kind of prequel game set 30 years before Final Fantasy VII, and it has some of the original characters like Hojo in it, but it's on freaking mobile phone. Like, what the hell are they doing? I
don't think they'd be like. See, this is kind of. I can understand. It's depressing, but I can understand why they've done it with this game. I don't think if this game was released commercially, people would really be that interested. I honestly don't.
I think they would, because you know, Final Fantasy VII is so renowned
you
worldwide.
Don't think of it as being able to do like a good third-person shootery kind of team battle game, which is what it is.
Okay, I mean, it's not. Is it not story?
No, I think it's an online battle royale style sort of like big team deathmatch thing going on. It might be. I think either that or it might be PvP, PvE, or maybe. But from what I got from the trailer, it looked like mainly a PvP experience. And I think to release that as a standalone, people wouldn't really be interested. So it makes far more sense to do something like that for free on mobile phones, where obviously the cash is going to be a bigger draw for people who want to pump money into it, into all of the microtransaction aspects. But it's gutting, but I can see why they did it with that game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is there anything from TGS that stuck out to you, Dan? Because I didn't write anything else down because I was just a bit disappointed.
Every now and again, I was sort of like looking. You can tell like COVID's hit a lot of different facets of entertainment badly. I mean, like E3 this year, I don't think was great. Probably one of the worst in terms of things I'm interested in. And pretty much similar with the Tokyo Game Show. There's a lot of stuff again that we've already seen before. Or stuff just mobile, or a lot of weird. Like I turned over to a Sega stream today, and it was all about makeup or something, and I'm like, "What is this? What is this?"
What?
Yeah. But there was one trailer that just popped up on a feed that I looked through and was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Gungrave. They're doing another Gungrave game now. This has been like a franchise that's been around for a while, and it always seems to do well enough for another game in the series to be made. I can't remember the tagline to it, but it's coming to everything. It's coming to Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC. And it looks like it is. They're usually like really fast-paced third-person shooters.
Oh, that's that really gory trailer I saw. Yeah.
The bloke carries like a giant coffin sort of stroke thing on his back.
Yeah.
It's got a giant gun in the sort of shape of a cross and that. But yeah, I thought that looked kind of interesting and cool to a degree. We shall see.
Apparently, Xbox did a live stream. I think
it was to do with like Game Pass. Like basically, they're now bringing Game Pass to Japan.
Okay, I didn't realise it wasn't even out there.
And obviously a lot of them now can obviously get Game Pass through the PC in Japan and stuff like that. So I think that's their tactic for that territory, because they're not really shifting that many systems on the ground.
Series S is doing quite well in Japan. That's already, I think that's been about a year, or it's been out. That's close to being the biggest selling Xbox had over there, which is not brilliant numbers, but it's doing quite well.
It's mad, like when I think back to like the early sort of 3 or 4 years of the 360, because that seemed like, although it wasn't mega popular in Japan, there was a ton of Japanese-only games that were only on that system, which I think all possibly culminated out of like their previous deals with Sega, where they supported a lot of the sort of Japanese stuff.
Yeah, there were some good JRPGs on the 360 actually that were exclusive.
Yeah, there was a lot of niche, weird little games on the 360 in Japan. Loads of cool, like gun bullet hell shooters and stuff like that. Speaking of which, I saw one of our classic favourite bullet hell shooters is getting a collection coming out, or it's already out.
Oh yeah, what's that then?
Oh, the Witch one. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh fuck me! Oh, I love that game. That was really good.
There was 2 of them, 1 or 2 or 3 maybe. There's a few of them anyway, and they're now in a collection. I can't call it. It's in the cupboard somewhere. But Bullet Witches, was it? Was it that? Was it called something like that?
Something like that.
Bullet
yeah,
Witch
I'll have to
was
remember
the launch title, wasn't it? Which had that awesome one for achievement for fucking finishing the game on the hardest difficulty. Like people would have been stuck at like 999 gamer score on that game unless they finished it on like the hardest setting for one gamer score. I remember, what was the other game that was quite bad for achievements? Was it Perfect Dark? Where you got like 20
loads of them,
completing the actual game, and everything else was in the multiplayer or something.
First one I had was Blue Dragon on 360. I think I played that for 85 hours.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
1 achievement, 10 gamer score.
Fucking hell. Crazy. So on other news, there's been a few games coming to Game Pass this week. The most notable was Marvel's Avengers.
Just bought that about 2 weeks ago.
We've had Scott. Lols. And Scarlet Nexus is on Game Pass as well, which is quite a recent game as well, to be honest.
6 months old now.
It came out in June.
Yeah, it's still quite recent.
Actually, no, it's about 4 months old, tell a lie.
Yeah, June 22nd,
Bloody hell,
I think. Someone said to me the other day, so I looked it up.
Yeah, and there's an RPG that people have been saying is pretty good as well, called Astria Ascending. So, there's a few games on there to check.
The one that was loosely based on ActRaiser that was at the Nintendo show?
Oh, it might have been, yeah. It looks quite good, actually. It's like a side-scrolling kind of arty-farty turn-based battle RPG thing. It looks good. It looks quite decent. So, and Aero came to Games with Gold, which is like a fast-paced action. It's a bit like Rez. It's got funky music, and you've got to use your left thumbstick to move around, and your right thumbstick to like shoot. I actually played a little bit of that today, actually, and I completely forgot to put it on my list. It's actually quite good. It's only on the Xbox. It's not on the PC Game Pass. So, Ruski Doo has got the high scores on that, so jump on there and beat his high scores. Be a good idea to do. What else did I do? Oh, Sony purchased Blue Point Games.
Yeah, has been rumoured for a while, hasn't it? Like, wasn't it accidentally leaked by like the Japanese account? Like a few months back?
Yeah, it was in the rumour mill. Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one because they're an independent studio and all they do is remakes, pretty much. And all but one game have all been on a Sony system only anyway. So they've pretty much acted as a third-party exclusive dev team for PlayStation anyway. But I just thought that was quite an interesting piece.
To be honest, the fact that they only do just make remakes, but what remakes they make?
Oh, really good, aren't they?
Every time, like you sort of go back to Demon's Souls on the PS5 and everything, it's just like this game, like what they've done with that.
Yeah. Yes, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
So, but there's rumours that they're not just because everyone's sort of like speculating straight away, like, oh, are they on the Metal Gear remake and all this sort of stuff, and all the weird games people wish that are getting remade, Legend of Dragoon and stuff like that. But there was another one where someone said no, they're working on their own IP. They're actually working on an IP of their own.
That's interesting.
But there's also another rumour that they're working on an IP and a remake of another game.
Oh, well, that would be interesting to see.
I mean, now they're purchased by Sony. Sony can actually then nurture them as a studio and possibly end up, obviously, putting more people into that company, getting them trained up. And then you can afford to have a team doing, like, multiple projects.
Yeah. 100%.
And then you could even have like one team that just works on remastering and remaking, and other ones that just like innovation, new stuff. Anyway, sorry. Karen.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. So I just wanted to mention PlayStation Plus is getting a few pretty decent games actually this week. So one of them is a favourite of mine on the PC, and I'm surprised it's even on console. To be honest, is a World War II shooter called Hell Let Loose. It's probably one of the best World War II shooters I've ever played. It's 100 players online, and it's basically like the old Battlefield, like capture the points, but it's like there's two sides of the map, and you've got to try and capture the points to get the whole map. It's very realistic. That's actually coming to PlayStation Plus now. Well, in October. So, we're in October now. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. PGA Tour 2K21 as well. So I mean, that's pretty decent golf game coming to PS Plus there as well, and Mortal Kombat X as well.
That isn't even a new one, is it? That's the one before. Yeah.
Oh, is it? I mean, it's still a decent month for PS Plus, though. To be fair with those games. You're like, but you know, I think, it depends. It depends how Hell Let Loose runs on the PlayStation.
What you're into. There was a lot of people that weren't too happy with the PS Plus this month.
It was decent, but you wouldn't have got a refund for your PS Plus, would you?
I don't need PS Plus because I game share with Wes, and I get all his PS Plus games anyway. I'm being a cheap bastard on a PlayStation. I'm sorry, but it's just how I am. Okay, that is all my news. So, shall we go to the questions?
Yes. I'll mention another rumour that's obviously recently, the last few days I saw.
Yeah, go on, mate.
That Sony and Kojima have been in talks with Konami, with basically Sony coming in as a mediator to sort of say, look, let this guy run with this thing. Again, Silent Hill rumours, possibly. Like, to be honest, it still boggles me to this day that PT was in my opinion, one of the greatest ever video game marketing tools that just blew up out of nowhere. And then the game never came out. And I think that game would have sold shitloads. Because, like, you were talking back then, when PT hit, that was almost like the main advent of, like, your streaming, people streaming games, like streamers playing these horror games and things like that. That game would have sold well. And I think because of that as well was one of the reasons why Resident Evil 8 did reasonably well earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, streaming's a big thing, man. I mean, people buy games just because of streamers. I mean, you look at Final Fantasy XIV as a prime example. You had one of the big WoW streamers move over to Final Fantasy XIV, and all of a sudden, the game had a massive influx of thousands and thousands of extra players.
Still there now. Like, even in the morning when I log in, I'll sometimes be in a 30-person queue at 7 a.m.
It's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mental.
Even my
so yeah, I mean, they have a lot of power.
Games because I've been playing them and they were probably on the fence, but they see someone else ask questions.
This is what Nintendo this is what Nintendo and all of that lot. I don't understand how. Because there's so many weird rights issues with YouTube, right, for people reacting to trailers and all of that kind of stuff, where they get hit by like a copyright strike, or not necessarily a copyright strike, but demonetized because that video's from somewhere else. Like, the video's freely available for everyone to fucking watch. This person watching it is giving you free advertising. He's giving it more eyes on it. Why are you penalising it?
Yeah. I know, it's absolutely crazy. And before we go on to questions, I just want to say a big happy birthday to our very own Clarky79.
Happy birthday.
42 years young. So a big shout out to you, Clarky. Happy birthday.
It's a shame you'll celebrate it by going to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, a big shout out to everyone who's listening live on Twitch at the moment and joining in the conversation. Five Large Fries, Clarky, and Hogarth, and Urban Big P. Thank you very much for joining the live Twitch stream. If you want to get involved, we stream live every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Try and join us and get involved in the conversation. Do feel free to ask questions in the chat or try and get them in as we record the show, do some shout outs, etc. And the last thing I will say is if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber, so you have Twitch Prime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. With your Twitch Prime, every little penny counts and it doesn't cost you a thing extra. So help a guy out and support the show by doing that. Right, let's get into questions. Again, Twitch people, if you've got any questions, just pump them in the chat. Okay, so What's My Tag asks, apart from Battlefield and Halo, are there any other multiplayer games coming out before Christmas that you're looking forward to? I have one, and that is Back for Blood. I think that sounds like a couple of weeks,
a week and a bit. Week and a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Also Horizon 5 multiplayer.
Yeah, that'd be big. That'd be pretty damn big.
When's Forza out?
November, I'd imagine.
Is it November?
Early November, probably. Sometime around the COD date, more than likely.
Excellent. There's a couple more games that we can set some gamer nights up on then. Good times. I think that's about it, isn't it? I think that's about it for this year. I don't think there's anything else. Arctic Jaeger says, who's getting the Switch OLED?
Yeah, Dan. Did Stunty get one, or was he just thinking about it?
I think he's ordered one for his daughter for Christmas. So I hope he's not listening in the van with her sitting next to him or the car or anything. Because that would be a massive spoiler. Yeah, I've actually watched a couple of video reviews comparing the Switch OLED to the original Switch, and it does actually look really nice. Like, because the Switch has got quite a large bezel between, around the screen, whereas this looks a bit more modern because it the screen is just stretched out towards the very edge, so it just looks like a more modern piece of equipment, really, and the screen's obviously a lot brighter because it's OLED, but apart from that, it's exactly the same. So
was back in the YouTube's about saying that they did do want to do a pro version, but they couldn't get the parts, so they just done the OLED. So if anyone's already got one, thinking, I might upgrade, especially if you can't get one, might as well wait a little bit and see if they announce something.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the news actually about the Switch 4K rumours that are coming out again this week. Apparently,
man, laughed. It's got to be by this point.
Yeah,
it comes.
Yeah, so a lot of some game developers, one of them is Zynga of all people, have apparently got Switch 4K dev kits in their offices to make games, so they can make games for an apparent Switch 4K console that's coming out in the next year or so. So the rumours are still flying around the internet, which is insanity, because I was thinking about this, the Switch is, it's a very small device, and technology isn't quite there yet, where a big hunk of a freaking PC struggle, will struggle to pump out a lot of games at those resolutions, etc. So how the hell is a little handheld tablet going to be able to pump that out? I think people are putting too much of an onus into 4K. I think you dock a Switch in, and you play it on your 4K telly, but it's outputting at 1080p. Those games still look absolutely fantastic, to be honest, especially like the Nintendo-owned games like Zelda and Mario and that anyway. Just enjoy the games, man, and stop worrying about it.
Super Mario World in 4K.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice, obviously, further down the line, but I think you're going to look at another... By the time I think the 4K thing happens with Nintendo, we'll be on the next system.
Yeah, and everyone will have 8K TVs by then anyway. Lols. Five Large Fries in the Twitch chat asks, if you could pick one game to play through into oblivion and the world loses all info on it, what would it be and why? This year's releases only.
One game into oblivion?
If you could pick one game to take through into oblivion.
Just like one game you could erase, basically.
To throw. Okay. I'm going to reread that. He asks, if you could pick one game to throw into oblivion and the world loses all info on it, what would it be and why? And that makes more sense, mate. What do you reckon? Has there been like any super shit games you'd want to throw into oblivion?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I must have ranted about one, like literally at least this year, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
I mean, what's come out of this game? I mean, would Biomutant be one of those games?
No, I liked Biomutant. Do you like that one? It was a good game. It did exactly what I wanted it to a degree. It wasn't a full price title or nothing, so.
Bit late, and that was December last year. But can we get rid of Cyberpunk, because that's just shit?
I loved
Cyberpunk. It was a brilliant game. It ran splendidly on PC. Carl, I mean, that's a good question, but there's been some really good games this year, and I've not played any shitty ones.
We actually had a really terrible, really bad game for a while.
Well, there probably has been shitloads come out, but we just don't play them because we're very picky people.
Yeah, you become a bit more picky in your old age. That and the fact that less titles will appeal to you as the spectrum broadens of what the games are. Like I was all in with, for example, like when they announced, what was that Gods game, the Ubisoft one?
Oh, what the fuck was that? I know which one you mean.
There's a demo for it and everything, like on the systems. Yeah, it was by the same team that made Valhalla. Not Valhalla, sorry, Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this would be interesting. And then when I watched the videos, I was like, it's a sort of like a platform game. No, I'm not interested.
I actually have an answer to Cole's question.
Do you?
I've just thought of it, and it's a game I haven't played, but it looks fucking awful. Life is Strange: True Colors. And the reason that I want it to be thrown into oblivion is because it's just like the way they advertise it, with the power of feelings. I was like, fuck off. Just fucking go and fuck off and die, you stupid piece of shit game. So that can get thrown into oblivion and fucked off into an alternate dimension or whatever. It just looks shit. I've not played it, but it just looked like the way they advertised. I was just like, oh god, it just looks like fucking crap.
I'm not interested in. That's it. Job done. Move on. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But yeah, it just sprung to mind as we were chatting then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've actually bought that many games this year. To be honest, I've bought a fair few, but not like ridiculous amounts. Like I used to back in the 360 days, and it'd be like 3 or 4 games a month. sometimes 2 or 3 games a week during some of those winters in the 360 PS3 era were brutal. Like you'd have 3 games out one week, 2 games out the next week, then maybe another 2 the week after.
Mate, that's why renting was my saviour back then. It was just infinite. The postman must have thought, fucking hell, what's going on here? And it's just like, got these orange bloody CD cases going backwards and forwards all the time from this bloke's house. Lols. And his other question, Arctic Jaeger's other question was, are there any PC games you'd like to see come to Game Pass? I don't know, because Game Pass on PC is actually really good. It's got pretty much 95 or more % of the games that come to Game Pass on Xbox. We've also got extra games that are PC only on there anyway. So I mean, I would love every game to come to Game Pass on PC, to be honest. So I wouldn't have to buy any other games again.
That'd be nice.
To be honest,
like some Xbox games are only on console or only on PC. That'd be nice if they were just all on PC and Xbox and the cloud, both. So we don't have to see which goes on to what and things like that.
I would like to see the games with gold games come to PC as well. Like Aero is a prime example. I can't play it on my PC.
Because
no, I know they won't.
It's because Xbox pays to subscribe to Xbox Live. PC you don't, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy with Game Pass on PC, to be honest. I mean, the app's a little bit clunky still. It's not as good as Steam, but the amount of games on there is absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, to be honest. Rooski Doo says, what and where was the first arcade machine you remember seeing that really blew you away? His was seeing Tekken for the first time at Pleasurewood Hills. Anyone answer that? Darren, I know you used to go to arcades.
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably be something from like way back in the early days of the arcade. Sort of like your Operation Wolves or Double Dragon even.
Oh, Double Dragon. I mean, I remember playing Double Dragon on the Atari ST.
Golden Axe as well.
Five Large Fries. Yeah, Five Large Fries says House of the Dead. That's a good one. Golden Axe. I mean, my first experience with Golden Axe was on console, so I don't really have a lot of experience with arcades because where I lived, there wasn't really any arcades near me. But my first memory of seeing an arcade was probably the original Mario Bros. On an arcade machine.
Yeah, we had a ton of arcades around here. Yeah. We had ones like most of our chippies used to have 1 or 2 cabinets. Then there was like about 3 arcades down in one of the towns near us. And then various video rental shops used to have them as well. So they're all over the place. Like where I used to live.
Yeah, we never had anywhere I used to live, which is a crying shame, to be honest. So my experience of a lot of arcade games has been on consoles, to be honest, which obviously isn't the same experience, which is a crying shame.
Did you ever have the travelling fairs come to town?
Yes.
Yeah, they used to bring arcades, like on our local fairs and stuff. They'd have like 2 or 3 big trucks with like all just full of arcades in the back. You do like your Final Fights and your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blaring out and Simpsons and
Simpsons,
next to the old coin tipping machine where you'd use your 2p.
I do remember going on a holiday to Greece, a family holiday when I was 11 or 12. Maybe a tiny bit older, and they had an arcade machine there. And I remember playing Bomb Jack. I love Bomb Jack, and the original Outrun as well. Those 2 games for me are absolute classics. Oh, I could play Bomb Jack all day. I think I've actually bought it on the Switch.
I just remember that being quite difficult.
Just playing, yeah. It is, yeah, but it's a great
they definitely
game.
had that in their local chippy. In fact, the chippy's still there now, which is quite something with a lot of businesses these days.
Clarky79 says Gillingham Ice Bowl had some good arcade machines. Yeah.
Yeah, had Hikari Warriors as well at one point. I think when it first opened as well, it had the sit down, or one of the versions. I think it might have been Return of the Jedi, or one of the Star Wars arcades in there as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, the Ice Bowl's literally like 15 minutes walk from where I live.
You're in quite a popular area. I mean, like Dan, you used to live there. Clarky knows it quite well. So
the scum filter's out, man. Mate. That's all it is.
I think that's all the questions actually, because I don't actually ask questions on Facebook anymore. I literally just put the shout out on Discord. So if you're not a member of the Discord group, what are you doing? If you would like to join the Discord, just go to 360gamercast.com and the link is on the front page of the website. Or do like what Five Large Fries did and listen live on the Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Webby360G. And the reason it's that is because we had a 360 Gamercast Twitch account and I've lost access to it. I can't get on it. And obviously I'm partnered on this account now, so obviously we can get the donations and stuff anyway. So it's on there. Any other questions on Twitch or before we end? We have been recording for 2 hours and a half, so it is a decent length anyway. I know, time flies, man. I think we're going to end it here by the looks of things. So I'm going to be doing some Twitch streaming. I'm going to set up a schedule at some point. So I'm going to do maybe an evening or two a week. I will put that out so people know when to expect me to do some streaming. I've got plenty of PS5 games I want to stream. Deathloop I want to stream. Alan Wake I want to stream as well. Maybe some Demon Souls. So there's plenty of stuff to do on there. Maybe some PC games at some point as well. So yeah, I think that's the end of the show, guys. It's been awesome. We can always ramble on for a couple of hours at least, can't we? There's always stuff to talk about.
Randomly goes off.
Carl is laughing at Deathloop. Yeah, I'll probably just delete it, to be honest. We'll see.
But, how's that done? Because I don't really hear people talking about it at the moment.
I don't think it's done very well, mate. I mean, it's one. I mean, Deathloop's a weird one, isn't it? Because it got loads of rave reviews, but then everyone who's played it that I know has said it's an average game at best. So I think that's one of those games where the people who were reviewing it are just completely out of touch. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But I do want to give it another go. But yeah, I've even got Horizon Zero Dawn. I've not fucking played, so I want to play that. And
DLC as well.
Oh, so many games, so little time. So yeah, man, I just need a little bit of time to get through those. And I think it'd be quite fun to stream them as well, because then people can talk to me and keep me entertained, and while I'm playing them and that, and maybe give me tips, because those games are quite old. So cool. That is the end of this week's show. It's been absolutely awesome. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSN ID, Steam ID, Webby360G.
Yeah, Nick Fights on, Twitter, Twitch, and all that good stuff. We'll be doing Alan Wake, Evil Within 2, and all scary games over October. So
for Halloween.
So if you want to come and watch a grown man shit himself live on camera, you should do.
Have you played the Outlast games?
Excellent.
Oh yes, I did those a couple of years ago.
Oh, they're freaky as fuck, aren't they?
Many shitting myself during those games.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to end it here. Thank you very much for coming on. Don't forget, next week is Patreon week. So if you want to listen to next week's show, then please subscribe. The link for that is on the website, 360gamercast.com. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.